This is just a quick, helpful method to help you accurately express domain in interval notation if you're having a hard time doing that. Let's start out with a problem in which we've determined that x is all real numbers except x cannot be equal to -1 or +1. And you're asked to express that in interval notation. So what we want to do is just make a quick number line. And we're going to mark -infinity and +infinity. Now we're going to mark the two values of x that x is not permitted to be, and that would be -1 and +1. The actual distance between these values is not important. You just want to make sure that they're in order from low to high. And now we have a visual so that we can easily set up our interval notation. I can look at that and I can see that my first interval is going to be from -infinity to -1. My second interval is between -1 and +1. And my final interval is from 1 to +infinity. Notice that I've enclosed all of my values using parentheses because I don't want to include the values of -1 or +1. And by convention, we always enclose infinity values with a parenthesis. Now let's look at another example. This time we've determined that our domain is x less than 2 and x greater than or equal to 5. We're going to employ the same method. So I'm going to make a number line and mark -infinity and +infinity. And now I'm going to mark the values of 2 and 5. Again, they don't have to be any distance away from each other, just so they're in order from left to right. This time I'm going to mark it like when I solve inequalities, and I'm going to note that I want to include the value of 5 and everything above it, and then I do not want to include the value of 2, but I want everything below that. Now again, I have an easy visual so I can set up my interval notation. This time, my first interval is -infinity to 2, non-inclusive, and my second interval is going to be 5 inclusive to infinity. Notice that I've enclosed the 5 in a bracket so that I've included that number in my interval. And that's all there is to it.